Guys, welcome to this discussion about Write Me a Love Story by Ravinder Singh. Uh, I have with me Aastha, who has also read the book and we'll be discussing what we felt about the book. So I'll just invite her and we'll start this discussion. So we will just start. I'm just waiting for her to join and then we can start the discussion. Hi guys, keep joining, keep joining. We will just start in a couple of minutes. I'm just waiting for Asa to join. Hi guys, thank you for joining. Invite your friends. This is going to be a wonderful discussion. Uh, we will just start in a couple of minutes. Am I audible now? Hi guys, hi guys. Hi Abhirup. Okay, just okay. Is it better now? Okay, Astha is here. We start now.
Hi.
Hi. Am I audible? I am getting messages that I'm not audible.
No, now you're audible. Earlier you were not.
Acha, take it. Chalo. Okay. So we have six people. People are still joining in. So shall we start?
If you want, we can wait for 5 minutes because since you are having network issues, might be like people would be waiting.
Right. We have people waiting. So I'll just see if more people are joining and then we can start. So, sorry. Okay. So I think let's start. Let's start. People will keep joining. So what was the first thing, because I remember we were talking about this book. So what made you pick up this book?
First thing is this that it is written by Ravinder Singh, obviously, because and he was coming up with the book after years. Like earlier he did came up with a book which was Belated Bachelor, that one. But
Right.
after that, there was no book. So, I was literally waiting to read a romantic book by him. So, when I got the chance, like when I saw that this is there, so I just pre-ordered it. Why did
Right.
you pick it up?
So I picked it up because I like the description that the book gave and the promotional activity that he did with Durjoy and the entire plagiarism discussion that we had. So that was something I wanted to read about. So I that's why I picked up this book.
But do you think, like, actually the way it was done, it was some way, harming sentiments of some of his readers?
It did, I saw the discussion that were happening on Instagram. It was like a 50-50 thing. People got divided. Some were like, you can do this. Some were like, you shouldn't do it. What was your take?
At first, I was hurt because I feel like they went too far. Actually,
Right,
with the prank, they went too far. They were calling each other a lot of things. So that was kind of something like I didn't like. Like there are ways,
right,
like there is an extent to which you do a prank with your readers.
right.
So I felt that they somewhere, did overdo it a bit. So yeah,
So, let's start with the book. So we'll start with the cover. What is your impression of the cover?
I like the cover. It's simple, not giving a lot, still giving a lot, I would say. It gives you a lot of food for thought. Actually, you can, derive different kind of conclusions, and yet you would not actually be able to come up with something concrete that yes, that this part of the cover is actually giving away the story.
That's true. In fact, the cover, the manuscript and the people sitting on the couch. So that's an interesting concept. The way they portrayed the story in the manner that they showed. That was I like the cover actually, but I read it on Kindle, so that was a bit of a issue. I did not see the cover in its true color.
Yeah, I remember like you cancelled your order because you were
Right.
just not able to wait for it to come. So you just started reading on the release day. Yeah.
Release day. So how long did it take you to read? Was it a single sitting read, or did you take a break and read?
These days I cannot read it in any book in a single read, even if it's 100 pages, because work take a lot of
Right.
time. So I took 3 days, but I ended it. I was like, yeah, I want to finish this book because it's very engaging and I do not want to put it down.
Right. But for me, it actually happened like that. I started at 11, I remember, and I finished at 3 in the morning. So it was a single sitting and it was just going on. I thought I'll close my Kindle and go off to sleep, but the book was not letting me do that.
The book
Oh.
is very engaging. It is written that way.
So, the way he introduces the two primary characters, uh, do you think that, that could happen uh, in real time? The very first scene of the book.
Yeah, you can.
It
Like,
can?
see, I'll say yes on 2, 3 points. Like, first point is parking is a very big issue in India. Okay.
Right.
So, you do not care who the other person who is parking, you just have to get a space and do it as soon as possible and just leave. So, and the second thing I would say, like, since it is said in the book, it is mentioned uh, that, we have mentioned Siddhanta's very fast firing questions. No, I'll also fire questions. I'm just having turns. So yeah, second thing I would say is like since it is written that Asmita is not someone who is interested in commercial fiction. So, if you would ask me if I have not come across a particular author, if he or she comes in front of me, I will not be able to identify them. So the same thing happened with her. So it's a reasonable scenario. You remember at the book fair, you told me like that is the
Right.
author. Like, what would I do? I don't
Right.
even know the author. So yeah, somewhat same situation.
Yeah, that's actually a very similar situation. We could have done that in the past. That could have happened. So, okay, your turn.
Yeah. So, like, did you find a lot of details like about the character Abhimanyu, similar to Ravinder Singh?
I did. I did, and I remember seeing a couple of people pointing it out, and it was in Ravinder's story as well. There were particular photos. He's describing that photo shoot, and somebody has gone down to his timeline, found that exact photo, and posted it on stories.
Yeah,
So
even
I think
I remember those photos. While reading, I was actually those pictures were coming in my mind. I was like, at some point of time when the situation was steamy in the book, I was actually like, no, I cannot, actually visualize Ravinder sir over there in that situation with the other characters. So it was very difficult for me because of those details to actually, separate Ravinder sir and the character Abhimanyu.
that was a very big problem with the book because from the very first page, it actually matches with his personality. And
Yeah.
whatever is happening, you can see on his stories while you are reading. So that
Yes.
was that was something, in fact, I think
I
we
was
need to have
that
Ravinder.
is a big gamble he played.
I think he did. He took a lot of details from his own life.
Yes. It is like, I saw people were actually saying that Abhimanyu is actually Ravinder sir. He has just written about his life in one of his
Right.
stories. We're not sure whether it is actually the whole his story, but yes, Abhimanyu is actually Ravinder Singh for me. After reading all the details about the character.
Right. So I think we can locate his apartment now. The way he described, we need to go to
No, you
Gurgaon and
cannot.
find it.
Actually, you cannot. You cannot locate his apartment because where he lives is in Gurgaon, and the description he gave us for Mumbai. So
Right.
you cannot match that description.
We will have to figure out something apart
Yeah,
from the
that
sea view thing.
yes,
Apart from the sea view thing.
yes.
So, it was marketed, that it's a story about plagiarism and how it affects the writer. Do you think that was an apt description for the book?
No, no. Because the way the plagiarism prank came out, I felt like the book would be more about actually that theme.
Right,
But I felt that when you are marketing a particular book with a particular keyword, you have to have more emphasis on the book on that.
right.
But I didn't lack.
Hmm. Even I agree because it started in the beginning. It seemed, that we will have that track coming in, weaving in and out. But it just came in the beginning and in the end, and didn't actually become a part of the story.
Yeah, it was
So,
like actually it just came for some time. Like it was not actually a part of the book. It was just
right,
coming as a side story. I felt like
right.
that.
I think that was just a build up for the climax. That was the only thing that could justify the plagiarism track of the book.
Yeah, but I think that if like tribalism part was being talked about so much and it was actually used to create a lot of hype, that should have been an important
Right,
and major part of the book. Like it should have been more to that story in the book.
right,
I felt like more over the story was like more revolving around Asmita and Anuman.
right.
So
In fact,
the marketing keyword used
this
was somewhere turned differently for them.
right. The story justifies the title, but the marketing I think went off somewhere.
Yes.
Right. Your turn.
Okay. So, uh, like, did you think at any point that Asmita would end up actually taking up this man's offer?
I thought so. In fact, I had a different thing in mind because there was a scene where she shares a chapter with a colleague.
Yes,
Uh, I thought
Maya.
that would play a more critical role towards the end because I thought that was something that could have been developed, but again that was left hanging. So that I think that would have worked out in a different track. But yes, Asmita, I did not think would work out in this particular track because he could not have developed the romantic track of the story.
But like that would also, if she would have accepted, that would also have given a new turn to the
Right.
story. Like she would have been working for the other person and she fell in
Right.
love with Abhimanyu and then all the dilemma and all that stuff. That would also have been interesting.
That would
So we
have
are
been
actually
interesting.
giving Ravinder Sir a second plot.
We are writing fan fiction right now.
Yeah.
So uh, if you had to see the story, on the big screen, who would you think play the characters?
That we have to think. For Asmita, I would say Deepika. And for Abhimanyu, I would have to think. For me, like Rizwan would be Ranveer Singh. He can
Okay,
do that role very well,
I
actually.
agree. I will agree.
Okay, for Abhimanyu, I would say Shahid.
We can ask Ravinder himself to do it.
Yeah, only if you would be interested to answer that.
That's true. That's true. We will have to sign a petition now. Send it to him. You need to do this.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Another question. Like, did you at some point feel that the book was actually losing its feel?
Uh, in the middle, it did became a bit repetitive, but that was for a very short while, and the tension came again, so it was fine. But yes, in the middle, for a let's say for 10-15 pages, couple of scenes, it did became a bit slow.
Okay, which scene was overdue for you?
I think the scene in the apartment, that was a bit of a stretch, the way it played out.
Between Asmita and Abhimanyu.
Yes, I don't want to give details, spoilers.
Yeah. For me, I would say the overdue scene was the first one when Abhimanyu is actually writing the story and masturbating.
Nice.
I felt that the details were too much. It was like I was like, yeah, we all know what happens, how happens, but you do not have to give, each and
Right.
every single detail for that because it would affect every reader in different way actually.
So, do you think the book should have had trigger warnings for some scenes?
I think yes. But if it would have had trigger warning, that would also, I would say, like, would have turned it somewhere negative because since he is actually marketing the book as romance plus erotica.
Right,
So,
right,
if there would have been trigger warnings, what was the would have been the use of actually using romance plus erotica?
right.
So,
That's a
that
valid point.
is somewhere there. Okay, so I'll ask another question. Like, did you feel like since the book is, he is himself saying romance
Hmm.
plus erotica, did you think that erotica was there as a proper mix or just as, like being sprinkled from the above?
I think it did play a part in the the story track of Abhimanyu at least, because the scene towards the end where actually things unfold, everything actually comes and stops at that point. So I think the erotica part of the story was necessary for him to build up that scene. So I think it was a backtrack from that scene that the different scenes actually came up.
I would say for me it was if the book is particularly being manga erotica plus romance, it should not be this much of erotica and this much of
Right,
romance. It has to be
right.
a 50-50.
Okay.
I would say that.
That's a valid point. We it's if it's A plus B, then we need to have both parts
Yeah,
equally. But again, I think his forte is more of romance, so that's
romance.
why I think he played it a bit safe.
Yeah.
So, what was your favorite scene from the book?
When Asmita is actually discussing the like book cover with everyone
Uh-huh.
in the meeting, the way she actually describes it and puts things into word. That was my favorite scene.
Yes, right. For me, the my favorite scene was in the local, in the later part of the book. That was something that defined them, and that was a very original sort of a scene. I
Yeah.
could imagine it happen, so that was I could relate to it a bit more.
Do like at any point of time while you were reading the book, did you anticipated this end?
No, uh, I was a bit I thought it would be a happy ending because I since it's a romance plus erotic, I thought it's a happy ending sort of a story. And I was like, हाँ ठीक है, build up हो रहा है, so this is what will happen. Uh, the launch part was something I did not expect. That was very original. And the last scene was actually very well written because when you come to that part and that unfold, that makes everything redundant, and everything just stops at that point of time. So that was something that worked for me. The very last scene.
I would say that somewhere this was actually what I had thought.
Okay.
Because I would actually tell you how I was able to anticipate this end. Ravinder Sir has actually hinted on two, three things. Like she was not ready to give up on her self-respect again.
Hmm.
This was somewhere
Right.
mentioned in the last few pages. And yes, she could not stop loving him, but she could not even stay with him because she wanted to, have her self-respect at a bigger level,
Right.
right? So that is what made me anticipate the end, because if a character is actually giving more importance to their self-respect
Hmm.
over love, obviously they would not go with that person.
Right.
So that,
Okay. So do you think the climax was more Bollywood sort of a climax as compared to a book climax?
yeah. So,
And
I
I'm
would,
talking about the earlier climax, not the last one.
which
The
climate?
thing, the thing at the literature festival.
Okay. So yeah, I would say it was a bit of Bollywood style, but that's my second favorite scene.
Okay.
Because it feels so real. Being a reader when a book fair or a book festival is actually being described in any book or anywhere.
Right.
It feels more relatable because you
Right.
have visited those places, you have had those experiences, sitting over there, having an author at the stage, listening to
Hmm.
him, the excitement, all that. So I felt that despite the fact that it was a Bollywood style climax, like Bollywood style scene, but it was actually necessary.
Okay.
Because if you have shown the whole journey of a book being edited and discussed, then you had to have the scene about launch also. So I think that was well written, and that scene deserved it. Whatever
Okay.
hype getting and
Haha.
in Bollywood style, it deserved that.
Yeah, I agree you because it matched well with the story, but for me that some parts of it went a bit overboard. Uh,
But
oh, I spoilers again. Can't say.
that's a small stuff.
The stage part,
The message,
the message. The message was a bit overboard, but again, it was necessary. So it was good, but I felt it went a bit overboard.
okay. For other than that, what do you think was a bit of a word? Like more
Uh,
Bollywood style scenes or any lines or any few scenes?
uh, the parking scene again was a bit filmy. The cars. That's a bit of a stretch. So,
Oh,
but again, gelled well with the story, but a little difficult to digest.
okay.
So that's something. Another thing I wanted to talk about was about Rizwan, and Rizwan appears as a as a guest character in the story.
Yeah.
So, if you had to see more of Rizwan, would you have actually agreed to the book getting a bit thicker and reading more about Rizwan as well, or are you happy with the storyline, the way it was?
No, I wanted Rizwan's character to be more there because of the whole, setting, the way the book is being talked about. It's like if you have a third character, you have to give it some space.
Right.
Know, you I felt like it was used as a side character, as like a convenience character, like using the character on your own convenience. Wherever you wanted to give some twist or some mirch masala, you use the character.
Right.
And if I think I would have not mind reading a few more pages, like even 100 more pages. I would not have mind that because it would have actually given the story more juice.
Right. A bit of a suspense and a bit of tension in the story would have been better, I think.
Yes.
So,
You know, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Go on.
continue.
So, one thing, I actually liked that Ravinder sir has included in the book is that through the character of Asmita, he is actually, talking about those segment of readers who actually look down upon commercial fiction.
Right,
I'll actually tell you a recent actual incident that happened. There are few readers here who were actually criticizing, commercial fiction like Ravinder Singh books are like this, or he writes for money, he writes for commercial stuff. But now they are actually having the giveaway of this book only.
right, right,
If you do not like the author, you have been bad mouthing about him, then why are you using his book and his name now to actually gain some growth or some attention from the readers? I do not like when people are two faced, no
right,
matter wherever it is. If you do not like the author, please do not use the author for your personal stuff, for your
right,
personal growth, personal gains. So I think this point that is included in the book that people do look down upon like this kind of fiction. It is actually true, and we have a lot of examples. We also, I personally I read most of Indian authors, so I have actually, seen people indirectly saying to me that you just read these kind of authors, we do not
right,
read these kind of authors. How can you read such books? Don't you get bored? Do not want to try new authors and all. So that thing is actually true, and that's why I have also highlighted that part in my review specifically because that is an important part of the book, because that is somewhere I would say uh, that the base of the book is there. On that basis only, Asmita's character and Abhimanyu's story is actually built.
right, right. That's a very valid point. When the thing starts, it seems very petty. The way Abhimanyu reacts to whatever happens at Paper Ink, and he says certain things, and it is a bit of a negative connotation in the beginning. But as you mentioned, when he talks about commercial fiction, and he highlights, that commercial fiction is readable
Yes.
at least, and it's a personal choice. So I think that was something that he covered very well, especially, and he detailed out it's not just one book. She reads multiple books, and it's not just an opinion that she forms overnight. So
Yes.
he actually shows the problem, shows the solution as well. So that was a complete sort of discussion that he does. Uh, what I thought was, as a spin-off, we could read the book that Abhimanyu writes. Do you think we could actually get that?
I don't know if Ravinder has it and he is
Because,
in mood to actually share it.
right, because the way it is described, I think that is written. At least parts of it are there,
Yeah, parts of it would be there, but not out to public.
not out to public.
Yeah, that only Ravinder sir knows. And we know that he is good at keeping secrets.
Yeah, that's something that's seen on his Instagram as well.
Okay, so when you were reading, did some parts at like there were some parts in the book where you wished that the descriptions had not matched to Ravinder sir?
Uh, I don't think so. Because from the first page till the last, that was something that was constant.
Yeah.
Uh, Picturizing the other characters like Asmita and the other staff at Paper Wing was a bit, you don't have that clear face. But for Abhimanyu, I had that face.
Yeah.
Visualization was very easy.
Okay. So, do you think that this book could actually be a real story, which is written under the umbrella of fiction, and a few details here or there have been changed?
I think that's the case because the details are bit too much to be
Yeah,
fictionalized.
these are too much particular, I would say. They're
And see,
actually making someone realize, like this happened.
right. But I think obviously we can't confirm, but
Yeah.
that's my speculation that parts of it are real.
Yeah, because somewhere I also feel like this would have been a real story, which Ravinder sir would have been, thinking about sharing, and
Right.
that's why he took that much of time to actually shape this book.
It took time to fictionalize the real event.
Yeah, that is the possibility.
Uh, 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 the book launch that happens in the end, that's a very interesting concept that Ravinder brings to the table. Uh, what would have been your reaction had it happened in real? The way the release of the book happened.
I would have enjoyed it. I would actually want that to become a reality because that is so, well described and well written scene that when, like if someone is actually making that whole scene real, that person would have to make it same to same, like point to point, if they want to have that kind of effect.
Right, right,
See, I would say it's easy to actually write a scene from a real situation because you can actually, mold the details according to your preference. But
right,
to have a scene come out of a book to reality, that is difficult.
right.
But if it ever happens, I would obviously want to be a part of it because I would enjoy. Because book launch, who doesn't love book launch?
Especially in the last 1.5 years, we are having online book launches. So that's something that actually came as a very, fresh thing. Imagining that book launch on
It's
stage.
we were in dire need of it, and Ravinder sir knew, like he did gave us a very good moment, a very good imaginary moment to live in at the last book.
Right. Okay. So, do you think the paper ink description, the description of the publishing office, what was your reaction when he described those rooms and the
I
ambience?
like, I want to go. Give me the address, and I want to go. Yes, it's like who doesn't want to go to such amazing places with such decors. Like, I am a person who is fond of such kind of decors, I would say. So I was like, I want to go to a place which has such kind of decor. Because these are minute things which actually add a lot of colors to the original story, I would say. These are important. These build-ups are actually important to actually uh, like gather, like hold the uh,
Right,
attention, the focus of the reader. Because if someone is enjoying the setting, if they are able to focus in the setting, they would actually be able to visualize it better.
right,
That is a plus point of that setting actually.
right. Okay, your turn.
Would you like to go to a place with that kind of description?
I would actually, and I thought publishing houses looked like that. Never been to a publishing office, but I think if I could imagine it, it would be like that.
And I would say like paper ink is black ink. We all know. We all know. And since we have not visited the office, so we cannot be sure about the office thing.
So
It
that
can
means,
be that the description is actually of black ink, or
so
somewhat maybe.
basically this discussion is him making us invite him to his office and to
Yes,
tell us the real story.
yes. Like,
Right?
you have the
That's
chance, if you get the chance, do visit the office because it's so beautiful and you would feel so good to visit here. Actually, it's like that.
yeah. The description was actually nice. Different rooms, and there was a wall with books. So that was something that took my attention. The wall that was described with
Yeah.
the title and everything.
Which was the scene in which you wanted to enter into the book? Just one scene, in which you wanted to enter the book and be a part of it.
The book launch.
Other than that,
Other than that, I would have been a part of the train one scene as a third person watching the scene unfold
yeah,
because
and
that was very interesting.
because it felt real. It somewhere gave me a hope. Can this be a possibility that
Right.
things might turn in that? But after that beach scene, obviously things were clear for me.
That was the high he actually took it to that was the peak, and then he started dropping it level by level, level by level.
Yeah, actually. So, since last question was in which you wanted to be a part of the book, now, like name a scene in which you wanted to enter in the book to ask any of the character, please, no, don't do this. Like, no, this should not happen.
Uh, I would have been a part of the initial discussions that were happening at Paper Ink when they were signing Abhimanyu. So I would have liked to, be a part of that table and said, no, we will not assign this editor, whatever happens. So
Yeah,
that was, I genuinely felt bad for Asmita at that point.
yeah, but I would say it's actually the reality, the harsh reality of the corporate world. In whichever industry you are,
Right.
when you are having a person who can give you loads of profits and publicity, if you in that process lose an employee, so it doesn't matter to the corporates.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I agree with that point.
So, like,
What?
I would say Ravinder sir has actually talked about a lot of things in the book. A lot of things can be actually taken into a lot of different aspects, but he has also, been able to not actually putting limelight on it and still
Right.
saying his point. He's doing that with a lot of things in the book.
Yeah, that is a highlight of the book. A lot of things are being discussed and the track does not get disturbed. So there is a track, and then you have, parallel tracks going on which are talking about different aspects of plagiarism. You have corporate, you have, the publishing industry. So that's something, that was the highlight and the USP for me.
Yes. There is also lines written at the starting of the book where he is actually comparing Abhimanyu and Rizwan. Like
Right,
how Abhimanyu writes and how Rizwan writes. I was
right.
like, I want to know whom are you actually, you know, I want to name who are you actually hinting at, but we all know somewhere who that is being hinted at. Who Rizwan is in those few lines. Not after that, but in those,
Haha.
yes, that we know.
That we know who the person is.
Yeah,
That's why I'm saying it feels very real.
yeah,
You
it
could
felt very
imagine.
good because we actually had most of the faces.
Exactly. That's why, when as I was mentioning, I finished it in a single sitting. It was because a lot of energy was saved. You don't have to figure out how the person looks like. You already have a face, you already have a person. You just build the character on that, and then it goes on.
Yeah, I was actually trying to, separate Abhimanyu and Ravinder Sir because in few scenes, you just do not want to
Right,
imagine an author like that.
right,
You do not want to have that author's face as that characters because there are some scenes which I felt like, yeah, no, because when uh, the face came in front of me, like, I was not able to actually visualize that scene.
right. That I think that is a problem everyone will face in the book, because unless and until you imagine a completely different person, then that's fine. But that is a
Yeah, but
challenge.
the people who had been closely following him and going to his posts and his stories, they would not be able to actually visualize a completely different person.
Right.
They would obviously have face of Abhimanyu as Ravinder Sir. So that is there. Somewhere he has used that description as his advantage,
Hmm.
I would say, because he has those pictures in his timeline which
Right.
he has actually described of
Right.
different shoots and that location.
Right.
You remember, he makes videos on his sofa. It has a small
Right.
table in front of it, and it's the same setting where Abhimanyu actually writes. And
Right.
that like sofa and table is actually near his balcony.
Right.
Yeah. So like that things are actually relatable. We have seen those stories, we have seen those videos somewhere. So we, like even if you want to separate the face of Emmanuel with Ravinder, we cannot. That is an issue. Like he, two things. It worked as positive because people were actually able to relate and they did not
Right.
have to, do much of work to actually have a face for the character. But second thing, for the people who do not want to see him in that light, actually were not left with much of choice.
Right.
So
And
somewhere,
he
yeah,
put up a story also clarifying, that these are, the book is fictionalized. It bears no resemblance.
yeah.
I think it was a couple of days after the book launch.
Yeah.
He
Yeah, because
put up a
actually
series of
the
stories.
early readers who had put in reviews, they were saying that Abhimanyu is actually Ravinder Sir.
Yeah, because that picturization is very, very deep. You can't actually walk away from.
Yeah, actually, that is there. That's why he has been. Okay, so we have a question. So, in general, book is average or we are not actually giving you the positive part because that would actually give away the whole plot, the whole book.
Exactly.
So, that's why we are just discussing those points which did not work for us.
And
And I have actually rated the book a 4 star on each and
right,
every platform. So no, it is not average for me. I have the review on my profile. It has spoilers there. If you want to actually get an idea of the book, you can refer to that or Sid's book, Sid's review. Because we are not actually wishing to give spoilers here.
right.
That we are actually controlling a lot to not give spoilers.
And it's actually very difficult, because if you talk in detail about the book, a lot of things will actually get spilled over.
Yeah.
That's why we are playing the devil's advocate and talking about the negative aspect. So let's talk about a bit of the positive aspect
Yeah.
since we are here. So what are the couple of things that you that made the book stand out for you?
Okay, so that would be like that point that he picked up was that like, the fiction, this kind of fiction is not actually supported or being liked much by the audience. That is a valid point. I have had a discussion on this with him. There are authors who have, who actually have a set fan base. They can
Right,
actually, take this risk. But someone who is actually, just entering the field, it, they are actually being looked down.
right,
So they are actually entering a field of readers who look down upon them and the genre they're actually writing. So that is my favorite part, that he has very well talked about it. That, and second thing that turned out good for me would be and Asmita taking a stand.
Right. I think that
And
was
one
one
more
highlight.
point, I would say, like where he is actually talking about Rizwan and Abhimanyu parallelly. He is not, degrading Rizwan, but
Right.
he is actually just listing the points.
Right.
That was good because, if this scene would have not been written so well, it would have turned like he is degrading the other person,
Right. Right.
putting him down, but which did not happen in this case. So these three were very good parts for me.
For me, I liked the way the story was told. So the narration part was excellent. The way, there were ups and downs, and it went well for me in that way. Uh, Second thing, I liked that he did not populate the story with too many characters. There were
Yes.
two primary characters. Those two were driving the story. We had a few characters here and there. They were just supporting. So it kept the spotlight on Asmita and Abhimanyu and their story,
Yes.
while touching on the other points he wanted to talk about. So that was one of the USPs that I felt the story had. Uh, and even in the erotica part of the story, the scenes were aesthetically written. They were not crass, and they were just enough detailed to give the story the
Lovely.
push it in. Yeah, I think that
Okay.
was something he executed well.
Yeah, and one a plus point about those scenes would actually, I would say, was that he did not use cheap words. You know,
Right,
when you are actually writing erotica scenes, one thing is very appreciable is that you are able to, visualize the whole scene for the readers without using cheap words, which can actually sound very vulgar. I
right.
did not find vulgar words there.
Yeah, I think that was a very good writing on his part. In fact, since the book has multiple scenes, it would have been extremely difficult to actually, keep each of the scenes separate and so detailed and write them in a manner that they are understandable yet relatable.
Yeah.
So, since we are almost on the 1 hour limit,
Yeah.
so what uh, what if you had to describe the book in one sentence, how would you do it?
It was an engaging and enjoyable read, I would say.
Right.
What about you?
I would say it's a unique storyline that explores publishing industry from within and yet gives you a perspective about relationships and romance.
And all the people who are there in this live, we were, intentionally talking about the negative aspects, because if we would have gone to positive, first thing, this live would have been for going on for hours.
Right.
Second, we would have given you the plot. If you want to actually know what is there in the story, you can check out any of us review. We have the positives written over there. Here discussing the positive would have meant giving away the story. So we did not want to do that.
That was there, and it was basically a discussion. So we wanted to see, and this discussion is impromptu. We did not prepare questions, uh, and I did not know what was her reaction to the book. We have just read each other's reviews, so we knew the positive part. But this discussion is and this is full disclosure that this is completely organic. So you can understand by the discussion, the questions and the answers. We are just discussing. So positives on the review on our blog and Instagram, and negatives are here in the live. So you can read both of them, understand, and then take a call.
Yeah.
So thank you for this wonderful session. And
Thanks for
people who are
reading.
watching this
It was your
video,
idea.
yeah, it was both of our ideas. We discussed and this came out. So people who are watching this video, the book is available on Flipkart, Amazon, and bookstores. Uh, Go check it out.
And in financial markets, can you suggest any? I don't read much of non-fiction,
Even
but
I don't have for
okay.
financial market.
If you want to read, get suggestions on financial market, you can go and follow Divyanshu reads. He reads a lot on financial markets. So he will be the
Yes,
better person to actually give you the suggestions.
right. So Rajat, you can go follow Divyanshu. You will get a lot of recommendations. Unfortunately, both of us don't read financial markets. Uh, so, but we go follow him. You will get a good set of recommendations.
Yes.
So, thank you, and hope to have uh, some more of these discussions and for more upcoming.
Sure. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.